Awesome. We are live on Facebook. Good afternoon. I'm Beth Copeland with Georgia Christian Business Network, and we are putting God back in business. This afternoon is Take Charge Tuesday Power Call, a business power call, where we bring to you outstanding, accomplished business owners and entrepreneurs that have a wealth of business acumen that we can glean from. Today is no different. I told people, and I noticed Bianca in her posts, is she captured what I said last week, I'm sorry, about this week's speaker. And I told them, I said, come on out, join us on Zoom, buckle your seat belts, get ready to take flight, because Gladys Agwai is going to be on site. And I am so excited, Gladys, to welcome you back as a GCBN faithful member to our Take Charge Tuesday Power Call. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here as usual. Welcome, the ladies that I see here on Zoom. You are investing in you. Those listening on Facebook, you are making an investment in you. And guess what? You're the priority. It's okay for you to be the priority, to put yourself first for a change, is what I say. It's
awesome.
time,
she's ready to take fire. She's got on that beautiful red. And I'm gonna let her have it in just a second. I just want to remind you all that this is the year of the double. We still wholeheartedly believe that God wants to deliver double in every aspect of our lives throughout 2023. And that's why we're kind of handpicking speakers to be on the platform like Gladys, to usher us forward into the things that God has called us to do. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself to you in just a second. And I want her to tell you who she is, what she does, and why it's important for you to know that. We promoted her on paper, told you what she looks like, giving you an opportunity to read her personal bio and some of the wonderful things that she has accomplished in her life. But just now, we really want you to speak from your heart, Gladys, and share with the folks who you are. Who is Gladys Agwai? And just tell us, jump in there and continue on with what God is giving you for us today. And I'll pop back in with the double acronym later.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for having me. You know, I love Beth. She was one of the first to support me when I first started my business, like almost 8-9 years ago, Beth. So I love her dearly. She wants the best for you. She wants the best for me. And she doesn't just speak it, she demonstrates it. So I am a life coach, and I'm an international speaker, and I help corporate professionals and leaders to eliminate stress in their life so that they can have more finances, more freedom, and more fun. I just find through my time in corporate, through the clients that I talk to today, you're stressed out. And there's a reason to be stressed out because of all the changes that have been going on throughout the course of the last couple of years, maybe all of your life, because actually change is constant. Change just is. And so sometimes we find difficulty with making that change. Sometimes we anticipate that change, and sometimes that change just slaps us upside the head, right? But that change didn't just come automatically. That change comes. That change becomes. So it's out here changing. It's out here changing already. Coming. The change is coming. Do you feel it inside you? Do you see what's going on externally? Because in this environment, this globally competitive environment, and I want you all to be globally competitive, because I have clients in Nigeria and sit here at home, in Europe and sit here at home. So it's important that you recognize that you can be globally competitive and you are competing globally as well. But with
Wow.
the change that comes, it's about ignoring signals. And I don't want you to ignore the signals. And that's one of the reasons why I'm talking today about why doubling your pursuits, because we're talking about doubling your pursuits doubles your pain and decreases your peace if you're not careful, if you don't understand the signals.
Uh-huh.
I'll go through that in a minute. I don't know if you want me to go through it now or you want me to wait. You tell me.
I'm loving this. I'm kind of sitting waiting to hear because you already have me pulled in. So yeah, you continue to flow. I'll just interject as God gives me something, but you're unpacking this and I want to hear more of it. Yeah.
Okay, great. And so one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, making a living is not the same as making a life. And so when you talk about you want to double your pursuit, we want more. Everybody want more. I want more money. I want to do more things. I want to meet more people. Everything is about more. I want more. I want to double my increase. I want to double my money. I want to double this. You want more, 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 more. To a point where you start not living your life. It's all about making that living, growing that business, getting more clients. But what does that do when you are doing that more? And I'll
I
get into
love.
that. But I first want to say again, let me repeat this quote. Making a living, making your money in your business, taking up all of your time doing that to get that does not make you a life. And you have
Mm-mm.
to determine what that life is. What does that mean? My life, your
You
better
know,
life.
what I'm hearing you and what's resonating within me is what's the purpose of all of this?
Uh-huh.
You know, to gain the whole world and to lose your soul is what
Right.
is popping into my mind right now as you speak. And doubling and understand there's purpose in doubling. I want to throw out the acronym that God gave me a download in December when I was in Europe, in Manchester, England. And I was praying and praying about this is the year of the double, Gladys. And I think you're going to put some greater perspective on this as I share this. But, and I was like, I was coming up, and you know, God uses me with acronyms. And I was coming up and it wasn't flowing for me. I was talking about diligence and, you know, dedicated and all of this stuff. And I was just saying, oh, is, you know, opportunity over opposition and things that I knew, but I wanted to hear how God wanted to arrange the opportunity to experience this double. Like, God, first, you've got to make it stick with me before I can deliver to your people. And this
Sure.
is what he gave me. The D, decidedly disciplined. O, optimally obedient. The U, uniquely unified. Okay. And I'm going to speak back to that about you and I in a second. The B, boldly believing. The L is limitlessly loving. And the E is excellently executed. And when we allow Him to facilitate for us through that acronym what he means by double, because the acronym for me helps me to see what's really in that word. And so, how do I go about experiencing the double in my life? Allow God to harness these 6 characteristics, and you will begin to experience the double. Now, one of the things that you said this morning already that's so resonating within me is that sometimes we're so focused on getting more. I just want more. But what's the purpose of that more? And what's the purpose of meeting more people? I want to know more people. Is it for self? Or is it that you believe that God has gifted you with something that you have to deliver to those people? And so the reason I'll give it back to you, is uniquely unified. That's a key right there. some opportunities in our lives, we're not aligned with the right people. We're on the wrong bus. We're riding a bus that's not taking us in the direction that we want to go, furthermore, in the direction that God has intended. I want to give you permission today to get off that bus. You're on the wrong bus. Get off of it. Get
Yeah,
uniquely connected, unified.
yeah, yeah. And when you talk about that uniquely connected, I like to use, and TD Jakes talks about it, the giraffe and the turtle. You're not uniquely unified with if you're a giraffe, vision, want to go places, wanting to achieve more, and achieving more is not an issue. We'll talk about that later, but you're not uniquely unified if you are spending all of your time trying to convince the turtle, who can only see at this level. Now they can't see up here what you're saying. They can't see your vision. It's impossible for them to see it, but you keep wanting to focus all of your attention on turtles who will never, ever, ever, ever be able to see up here,
I
ever.
love it. I love it. I
And
love
so
it.
you
I
have
love
to
it.
get uniquely bound with other giraffes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
does not mean that you diss the turtle. I'm just
Mm-mm.
saying the turtle has their own place and position.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you, if you're on this call, if you want to double, if you want to grow, expand, you have a vision up here of the giraffe you see out. And unless you
Awesome.
start uniquely attaching yourself and aligning yourself to other giraffes, then there's a problem. But like I
Awesome.
said, there is never a problem with you wanting more. Why do we want to double? Why do you want to double your pursuit? You may have passion and interests that you haven't pursued yet, and you want to bring those passions and interests in. You may want to personally grow and develop. And therefore, to do that, you have to do other things. Maybe you have to go get education. Maybe you have to take another job somewhere, right? You
Right.
may be bored as heck. And I've
Yes.
got to do something different because I can't keep doing this and I'm bored. I'm just bored. I'm just bored. I'm just bored. Or maybe you want to reduce your risks. So I have to diversify my income. I'm in business, but I need to mitigate my risk. So I need to diversify and get maybe a side job, get a second business, add more products, solutions to what it is that I'm doing. Or maybe you need to create balance. You're spending too much time here and you need to bring something in. Maybe you're spending too much time with work and you need to bring more peace, more living of your life into what it is that you're doing. Or the
Wonderful.
financial considerations, like I talked about, where you need to diversify your income. So there's nothing wrong with bringing in more, right?
Mhm.
But I say, what are you doing with what you already have, first of all? What are you doing with
Exactly.
what you already have? You
I
want
love it.
more of what? Why do you want more? What is more going to bring you? How is more validating and elevating your life? Last conversation was around elevation, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So why are you bringing in that more? What is the purpose of the more? If you're not managing what you already have, if you're not doing things that really matter and that are important to you, because often we're doing things that other people want us to do. And so do you
Yeah.
want more of that? Because that's what you're going to get, because you're not in the right mindset to say, this is who I am and this is what I want.
You know, Gladys, you said something that struck me very powerfully. If more often than not, we're doing things that other people would have us to do, are that we believe we should do because we're looking into someone else's life and trying to imitate who that individual is and what they're doing. We're getting
Right.
outside of our lanes. I like that Don said that was a powerful analogy, the turtle and the giraffe. I love it. You shared that once before, and I love that, and how that relates to looking at others, thinking the giraffe, not even knowing who he is, could be looking down at the turtle when God's calling them to look up. You've given you that height for a reason. And when we compare ourselves against ourselves, Paul says in 2 Corinthians 10 chapter, that is not wise. It is so important to know who you are and your giftedness so that you can walk out and fulfill what God has called you to do. Also,
Yes.
hi Tyrese over on the
Hey,
Facebook side of
Tyrese,
the house. Good to
everybody.
have you over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the giraffe does come down to where the turtle is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Yeah. It's
come
okay.
down, but
It's
guess
okay.
what? They know how to get back up there, right? They don't stay
But
there,
it's important.
but we stay down there.
Yeah.
We will stay.
Yeah.
Just
No,
like
no,
the
he's
giraffe
looking
wants it
down
to stay.
for the purpose of the opportunity for the turtle to glean from him. Perfect. But to admire what the turtle is in lieu of what God's called him to be. That's all. It's not recognizing your giftedness and not recognizing who you are and being distracted by, well, he can crawl, well, and not benefiting from the power of, I have these long legs. I can leap, So the opportunity is to appreciate what someone else can do and what God wants to do in their life, but not to be discouraged or try to imitate them. You can't do what God's called them to do. You can
Yeah,
do what God's called you to do. That's
yeah,
my point. Yeah.
right. You think that turtle is having a great life, and oh
Hmm.
my God, I can't believe how they can do that, and and
Yeah.
all of that, and then, but you don't. I said you don't. Compare yourself. We do it all the time.
Yeah.
Comparing
Yeah.
ourselves to other people, like you really know those people,
And
like you
don't have
really
a clue.
know what's
You
going
really don't
on
know.
in their business. Like you really
Yeah.
know how successful they are
And you
versus maybe they're pretending to be successful, how successful their marriages are. Maybe that's a pretense of how successful, it is on social media. What was the
Uh-huh.
girl that was on social media and her boyfriend were getting ready to take this excursion to the mountains, and they just all over social media and lovey-dovey and loving each other and all of that stuff, and he's beating her and killed her. So
Yeah.
if you just look at the social media and just compare yourself to them and what we post, all the good stuff, then you start comparing, and then that's when you start that negative tape spiral where you start
Mm.
defining yourself about not being good enough, not being worthy. Why can't I have? What's wrong with me? And then your actions and behaviors align with that negative tape spiral that you keep going into, and you don't even know that you're in it. Your body is tight, stomach knotted up, headaches, all of that, because those are emotions that you have not expressed. But those emotions that you don't express, and especially as women, we don't express, and I would say men too, let me say men too, because y'all
Yeah.
need to be expressing more of your emotions. But you're holding those emotions in, choking them down with your dissatisfaction level of where you are based on where you think somebody else is. How many single women are so stressed and depressed and feeling not worthy that a man does not want me enough to say, will you marry me? Thinking that the ones who are married are just so happy, and some of them are, I'm not saying that they're not, but you're comparing yourself to that versus what do I need to do within me to ensure that I'm whole, that I'm fulfilled, that I'm happy, that I'm at peace, that I'm not stressed out. Because when you are in that state of comparison, comparing yourself to other people, then you are not focused on what you need to be focused on now. You're just not, it's no way that that clarity can come for you. You can't, there's no way for you to see and seize opportunity. I told you about change, and it's happening all the time. And with change comes all kind of rejection and changes and strategies and all of that stuff. If you pay attention to the signals, you can be proactive with it. But even reacting with it, you have to open yourself up to receive.
You know, Gladys, you touched on something else that is really big for me, and that it came to me when I focus on what God is doing in someone else's life and not appreciating and valuing what he's doing in my life. Then, and I say to God, is you made them better than me, or you
Right.
love them more than you love me. And I call God a lie.
Yeah.
And I say, you know, basically I'm saying you're a liar, God. When I say, because he says in his word that he has no respect of person in Romans 2:11. And the opportunity is he gives us all the same mustard seed of faith. And how are you growing your faith? You know, how are you I believe the more you exercise your faith, the more that you'll grow your faith. You know, when I met you, you only had started writing, and then you wrote the book, you finished it. And I believe that's because you understood that God had gifted you to, that people, women, men could learn from your teachings, and you packaged it and you completed it and you put it on the market and we began to buy it. And
Yeah.
then since that time, God has done a whole bunch of other stuff with you. But the opportunity that I'm utilizing right now to share is to value, and this is something you're big on. And I was hoping you would say it. I'll never forget the day that you ministered to all of the women at God Golfing Girls that year. But you mentioned ministered to me personally because you said you got to learn, and you fix it up because I may mess it up, to sit with yourself. And that was so enlightening for me, is
Yeah.
the value of that. Could you share that a little bit?
Well, we run 200 miles an hour with fleeting thoughts about stuff. I don't like this. I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. They're never gonna be my client. I'm never gonna make this business success. It's fleeting thoughts as we run in 200 miles an hour. And that becomes being how you operate on autopilot. You just doing that all the time, not even realizing that you're doing it. You're so used to operating in that way. And you do it all the time. But I say you have to stop
Yeah,
and sit
yeah.
with yourself and understand it. Even me saying, why doubling your pursuits increase your stress and decrease your peace? Just pursuing something. Why are you pursuing, chasing? God said, this is what you are supposed to have. This is what you deserve. I come to live so you can live life more abundantly, but we still chasing and pursuing everything. But if we sit with ourselves long enough to really get where we're supposed to be moving, what we're supposed to be moving toward, not running away from, but moving towards, running towards, attracting that to us.
Yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
we have to stop chasing more. Stop chasing more. There's nothing wrong with having more, wanting more, but God wants you to have it. So why are you chasing it? If you just sat with yourself and understood it and become clear about it, become confident about it, making steps towards it, not knowing all the steps, but just making steps. And I say steps the size of a little tiny mustard seed, or they can be big giant steps.
Uh-huh.
But until you start doing that and stop chasing and pursuing and just running yourself ragged and stressing yourself out because you don't get it, or you think you can't get it, or it's maybe right around the corner for you, but you say, oh, let me stop because I'm not worth getting it. It's not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. They don't like me. I can never be like them. You get into that negative tape spirals, ruining your life. That negative tape spiral, you're on autopilot. You're on autopilot. So as you are doubling that pursuit, you are increasing the demand, right? You want more, you get more.
Mm.
And so what are
You
you
know,
going to do when you get that increased demand? Maybe that's more clients. Maybe that's more relationships. Maybe that's more money. Are you spending the money you have the way you're supposed to be spending it? Or are you going to just get more money and waste that as well? Right.
because there's
So,
no purpose in what you're aspiring to. What is the purpose? And if we want to align with what God has said for us, I love Philippians 1:6. It says, being confident, and you spoke to confidence. And when we're not confident in who God is and who He's called us to be, it causes us to chase after more this,
right.
more things. I need things to make me confident in who I am. I need things to make me confident that that I do have significance or I am worthy. But this is the scripture. He says, being confident of this very thing, that God, who has begun a good work within me, is able to complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. The thing that I scramble to do when I'm trying to gain more, I'm chasing, as you said, after more and not being confident. When you're chasing, you're not confident. And honestly, I'm pulling my hands up here and my feet too. There were times when I chased. You mentioned GCBN 9 years. Over the years, hopefully you've seen the transition. People join. I mean, I want everyone to join. I think if you're a business, you're a Christian, you ought to be a member of Georgia Christian Business Network. Put that out there. But my responsibility, Gladys, I found out, wasn't to chase them down.
No.
Mine is to put it out there, continue to do the good work that He's begun within me, invite them to join, and those that will come in. But I don't do that. I used to be so disappointed that people would say, I'm going to join your network. And then they didn't. And then, or either they joined and they didn't renew and be consistent like you are as a faithful member. But my peace comes in, God, did you call me to do this? And being confident is, I'm on assignment from Him. You have to understand, what is your assignment? Has God placed you on an assignment? And if
Yeah.
He
I
gave
think,
you the vision, then His provision belongs to Him.
yeah. So when you say you want more, like I said, your increase will come. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to handle it? Because you still got the same amount of time, same amount of energy. So where are you gonna fit that more into that? When you get more in, what's gonna be the quality of what you produce out? Because Beth, I guess that you would say, because I know it's true for me, that when I stopped chasing that more, I got more quality more. I got more
Excellent.
quality time because I wasn't wasting my time chasing after something or people who weren't ready or relationships or whatever that is, right? So
You are so
take
key.
a
You
second.
are so on target that when you stop chasing and start to receive what God wants to bring into your life, instead of going after what we think, because our ways are not His ways, our thoughts are not His thoughts. The opportunity, what we see in that individual is like you're saying, and that was so sad of a case, that they're posting pictures of how joyous we are in this relationship, and a few days later, you're dead because of facades. And I'm not saying everyone's, there are successful people out there on social media that are sharing their success for our encouragement. But understand that focus more on what God said for you to do and what he's called you to do and what he's placed within you, and allow that to come forth. The tendency is what Gladys is saying, and I'm so loving it, is when we're not being ourselves, when we move outside of being self and start to be someone else to identify with what they're doing, you can't identify with them because you really don't know who they are.
Right.
You see a picture of who they are. We couldn't tell who that couple was by those pictures because
Right.
we don't see them 24/7. We don't live in the same home.
And
We
you
don't,
don't know who you are
you
because
need
you
him.
haven't sat with yourself long enough to figure out who you are, what you want, why you want that. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to get that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what would that sacrifice mean to the people that's close to you in your circle of influence?
That's good.
So you have to get to know who you are, be who you are, love who you are, and be unapologetic about it. Because when you get that in your spirit, what somebody else out there is doing, fine. They don't want to work with
Yeah.
you. Okay, because I know that
Yeah.
the best of my right client is out there. My right relationship is out there. But in the meantime, I'm going to be focused on me, making sure that I'm not just making a living, but I am making a life.
Wow.
What
I
does
love it.
making
I
a
love
life
it.
mean to you? Do you know who
Yeah.
you are? What when you say, I want to make a life for myself, what does making a life look like for you? If you're
Yeah.
not married and you want to be married, but you're single, what does a single life look like for you so you can still enjoy
Oh
life?
man. Oh man.
It's just so
That is,
important. So it's not just knowing them, you don't know them. You will never know another person. And nobody should know you better than you know yourself because it creates burnout. Are you exhausted? Are you tired? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? I mean, where are you? Are you even paying attention to the fact that you might be exhausted? That it's too much. I'm doing too much. I'm saying yes to too many different things that don't matter to me. I'm too
yeah.
distracted. And you think checking email all day and social media all day, that's the distraction. That's not the distraction. Am I overwhelmed? Do you even stop to think and feel I'm overwhelmed? I'm bored, as we talked about. I'm doing too many things that just don't matter.
That is
Not
so
doing things
true.
that are important. So you have to get to know who you are so that you can figure out the root cause of what you're not getting that you want more of in your life. What is the root cause of why I don't have that? Because what we'll do is we'll put the wrong solutions in place. If
Yeah.
you don't understand the root, I'm overwhelmed. If you don't even know you're overwhelmed because you're running 200 miles an hour and you think one more thing is going to get it for you, going to make you happy, bring happiness into you, then that's a fallacy. It's an illusion. You won't be successful.
No.
You won't
And
get
and
what you want.
and Gladys, the opportunity and the value of sitting with yourself is something that I also heard, that I know the importance of prayer. Prayer is just my number one thing that we need to be engaging in. And listen, you don't have time not to pray. Some people say, I don't have time or whatever. But I love the way Denzel Washington put it in an old clip that I saw. They tell me it's old, but it's present day for me because I just ran across it a couple of years ago and it just resurfaced recently. And in that clip, he's speaking at a graduation ceremony and he's the keynote. And his opportunity is that he's saying to them, in the process of all he's doing, is the gratefulness of his accomplishments and the way that he's able to remain humble in the midst of all of that is, and you'll have to look it up, but what he basically is saying is he places his slippers far enough under the bed at night so that the next morning when he wakes up, he has to get on
Yes.
his knees to grab his slippers. And while he's down there on his knees, he prays. And that's one of the things that I believe is we allow so many people to speak into our lives. We allow so many things, whether it's someone's podcast, and I hope you're watching GCBN's podcast. That's important. And others are important, and I watch a lot of them. But let it start with prayer, is what I want to say to you. Let God speak to you. He's our creator. He created us on purpose for a specific purpose. There's greatness in each of us. And that's one thing that I like about you, that I like about you, Gladys, is you speak to the greatness in people. I've heard it from coaching clients. I've heard it, when you speak on our platform, is you're telling people that they can and why they can. And it
And
just
how
kind
you
of,
can.
and how you can,
Yeah.
and that's so important, is because people have been told that they can't for so long, and they're not in the right circles. That's why I believe I like Uniquely Unified. They're not in the right circles that are telling them that you can. And that's why I love it when you come, is because a shift happens. you
Yeah.
know, as you're saying, can't you feel it coming? Can't you feel it coming? Can't you feel it coming? And what you have to be is in touch with reality. And God is that reality. God is who we start off with, because he'll affirm us and then get connected. I want to know more about your coaching opportunities so that people can know how they can reach out to you and hear from you directly
Sure.
and
And I
spend
can
time
put,
growing.
I'll put that into the chat, a way to connect with me after this. I have
Okay.
a free case study video that talks about the kinds of things that we're talking about today, to give you some more tips. And watching, and it's a free case study video, as I mentioned, it's not long at all. And watching that video, you have the opportunity to also schedule a 45-minute free consultation with me. Uh,
Wow. Bianca copied that over into Facebook as well. So
okay.
thank you,
Okay.
Bianca.
I'll put that in there because everybody needs a confidential, non-judgmental, objective conversation. And you need to talk with somebody who's been there, done that, but also who talk to people who know more, who know more than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking to people right here, they may not know. So get a different perspective, and it doesn't cost you anything, but you will walk away with much when you have that
Awesome. What an
conversation.
investment. What an investment. We'll definitely promote that. And also, I want to say I appreciate Etta and Don joining us, and as well as Bianca's support here on Zoom. And if you have an opportunity and you're interested in any dialogue with Gladys, I want to ask you to unmute yourselves and feel free to chime in, to let her be able to address you directly. And that's the advantage of being here on the Zoom side of the house, for sure. Thank you for sharing that contact. Bianca will share it over on the Facebook side of the house as well.
Okay.
Awesome. Etta says she loved it. It's awesome. Thank you, Etta.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
And so you all just make sure that that pursuit of more, that going after more, just recognize you don't have to chase it. Once you get, again, clear and confident in what it is that you say you want your life to be, what you want your business to be, you will be amazed at what you will attract, the resources you will attract, the peace that will come into your life. And you want that.
Awesome.
And shed.
Awesome.
What do you need to shed? What do you need to get rid of? How do you need to simplify the things that's happening in your life today? Because that's the only way you can receive more, is if you get rid of stuff and if you simplify things. So go through that process as homework. Where am I in my life? And am I doing that I don't need to be doing because it does not matter to me? It's not something that I like. What and who do I need to shed out of my life? Identify your priorities. Declutter your house, your closets, your yard. Streamline your commitments. Quit saying yes to everything. Limit your distractions. And I talked about understanding what is the distraction. Is it being overwhelmed? Is it because I'm bored? I'm doing something that does not matter? Or I'm in a situation that I don't like? That's what causes you to go do those things. That causes you to do the things, the email, the refrigerator, the bad behaviors and things like that. Right? Be
Wow.
mindful. I told you, be cognizant of where you are. Stop running
Yeah.
200 miles an hour with fleeting thoughts. Quit living your life on autopilot. How can you enjoy
Awesome.
your life if it's just on autopilot? Yeah.
And you know, when I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of, and this happened to me even before getting on the call, we have a tendency for people to make their emergencies our emergencies. And is that yes to everything? You don't have to say yes to everything just because they ask. They have the opportunity to ask. And as much as possible that lies within you, live at peace with all men and do not miss an opportunity to give when it's given the opportunity, especially those of the household of faith. Now that I said all that, you still need to consider, is this the yes that God wants you to give? Because everybody's emergency can't become yours. Are you going to become disobedient to what God is calling you to do? We
And if
have
you
to,
say yes, if you say yes because you're used to saying, that was me. I'm used to saying yes because I want to give and support. But now when I say yes and then I come back and I'm like, oh, I don't know why I did that. I will call them up and say, excuse me, I told you that I would be able to do this, but I'm not going to be able to do it. I might give them a reason why, and I might not, because I don't owe anybody a reason. And
uh-huh.
if you get upset with me because I did that, because I'm doing it out of good intentions. And if you get upset with me because I came back and said, I'm sorry, I cannot do that, then you have to figure out why you are feeling some kind of way about that. It's not my job to help you figure that out. Right.
Right. And the thing that I'm careful about is I parked the text. I wrote the answer right then, but I parked it because I had a meeting before this podcast today, and then I had the podcast, and then I'll refresh it. But what I know assuredly is that's a no for me. The way you want to see it, I can tell you how I can see it and what it could work with my schedule. And because of what you said, if and I've had those times, and that's why I'm more careful because I hate calling people back to say, I want to walk. I'm trying my best to walk in integrity with everyone. But so what I do is I don't readily give. I want to give a quick yes when I know if it's got the right sound. And we talk about this at National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs, is be ready for the quick yes, because God's going to bypass and go to the next. But if it don't have the right sound, or if you do that quick yes, and you're later saying, God, I think I missed you in this, do what Gladys just said. And make sure, because that's integrity as well, is listen, in good faith, I committed to you. But I need to back it up a minute. And I'm learning that it's okay for me to do this rather than me just not show up for you. I'm
Right.
giving you the opportunity to hear that, hey, I
And are
can't
you
do
saying
this.
yes out of ego? Well, nobody else gonna do it. Can't nobody else do it better than me. We have that too. That's why this is all about you being really honest with yourself.
Come
You really
on.
getting to
Come
know
on.
yourself. Right. So why
Mm,
are you doing the things that you're doing? If you're not happy with a client, happy in a
hmm
relationship, happy with your business, happy within your job, wanting to do a business, I'm gonna ask you, well, why are you still there? Let's talk about why
mm,
you're still there in a place
mm.
doing something that you don't like. Why are you doing things that don't matter to you? See, that's the key. like I said, you gotta understand the root cause so you know what solutions to put in place. And you're not
I
going out there putting the wrong things in place and thinking you're doing all of that in a bag of chips when you didn't get it right because you didn't sit with yourself long enough, think through it, talk to the right people to help give you guidance and give you right guidance and direction, because anybody can pivot. I can go any way I want to, but you must pivot in the right direction. And God leads us to pivot in the right direction if we're listening
That's right. And
and we're
people
feeling.
pleasing, do you want to please God or you want to please people? If you really want to excel and get the more
And
and
please
experience
yourself.
double, right, right, right. Be pleasing, something that you at night can go to sleep and lie down in peace, knowing that you did the best that you knew how. And that doesn't mean you get it right every time. Does it, Gladys? You don't get it
No,
right
it is
every time.
not.
Mm-mm,
And I talked about when you are wanting to pursue more, you want to go
mm-mm,
after more. Make sure before you do that, you are what? Simplifying your life, that you are shedding things that are in your life. And from when you do those things, I want you, I call it sail with the wind. Quit
mm-hmm.
sailing against the wind and sail with the wind, going with the flow of spirit that has been placed within you. Not pushing against something, but flowing and going and glowing with what has been given to you. That's how you need to be operating. You don't have to operate with all of that stress and frustration and all of that and pushing and pulling and tugging and begging and all of that. Sail with the wind.
I love it. I
Sail
love
with
it.
that wind. When that
This has
wind kicks
been
up, just adjust and navigate and do what you got to do. That's why you got to be like this, and you can't be frigid. Flow
This has
with
been wonderful, Gladys. I'm
it.
going to give you an opportunity in a second to give us some words to grow on, but I want to do a little housekeeping here. I love it that you shared stressfree.ignitewithin.org, and Bianca's shared that already, I'm sure, over on the Facebook side of the house. But I want to thank everyone for joining us today, because I told you to put your seatbelts on and get ready to take flight, because it's time for the shift. To go forward, to experience the double in your life, to experience the more that God has for you. But do it with without the stress. We don't need the stress in our lives. I want to invite you back to the platform on tomorrow, Wellness Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're continuing our discussion with Pamela Bridgman Bartell, the fruit of the spirit for unreproachable integrity. That one is good. I've got the notes, and I tell you, she has outdone herself. So if you're free tomorrow, just make time, take lunch with us at noon tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday. I'm so excited the direction that we're going there. We have this huge announcement that how Wellness Wednesday has taken a facelift, and we're doing some shifting, and we're just going to put it out there for you tomorrow. I'm so excited. Also next week on Take Charge Tuesday, Jason Davis, he's going to talk about E squared, becoming an encouragement engineer. Okay, I'm so excited, Etta. I see you here. I know you're going to be on the platform on May 31st for Wellness Wednesday. I saw all that conversation between you and Bianca, and we want to thank you for being here for today, and looking forward to hearing you on May 31st. That should be amazing. We always love it. Thank you for being also a Georgia Christian Business Network member. And we've been missing you, but we're glad you're here today. And again, Don, thank you for being consistent in your support to us. We really appreciate that. Listen, those of you over on the Facebook side of the house, I know Tyrese was in the house, and any others that joined us, we want to say thank you. We want to invite everyone, whether you're watching the replay or with us now, as we're flowing today with the Gladys Agwai, to go to our website, gcbnetwork.com. Look for an opportunity where you can become a member or a sponsor. We're doing a great work like Nehemiah, and we won't come down. Don't let me complete my announcement without inviting you women to our 8th annual God Golf and Girls event is going to be August 18th through the 20th at Lake Lanier Resorts. It is going to be outstanding. Well, yeah, we did a shift. It's the year of the double, and God is doing amazing things. We just signed an additional platinum sponsor. We have an amazing website. I'll get Bianca to post it for you to visit. The GGG webpage is on our website at gcbnetwork.com, but GGG has its own dedicated web page where you can experience the past 7 years and get excited and sign up and register to attend the 8th annual. We have some amazing speakers. CYE is out of Jacksonville, Florida. Erica Jackson is once again our Platinum Plus sponsor. We're so excited to invite her back to the platform as well. We've got Angie Sella, the Blinger Lady. Amazing story how she created this invention. 3 years later, she put it into production. Her first year, she did 60 million. Angie and her team are joining us at Lake Lanier Resort. August 18th through the 20th, Heather Rossum, Pamela Bridgman Bartel, Heather Rossum is the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs owner and the national director, and I'm the Atlanta director under her leadership for the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs. I don't know if you knew that, Gladys, but we're having an amazing time. We just launched here in March, on March 4th, and already we have 36 women that have signed up. That's a great organization I want you to take a look at, and those of you are here as well. But for God Golf and Girls, August 18th through the 20th at Lake Lanier Resorts, please check it out. Have any questions? Let us know. We would love to invite you to attend. Thank you so much for joining us today. Gladys, what are some words for us to grow on that you just want us to just think on and to resonate with our spirit, man?
I just go back to that original quote by Maya Angelou. You need to be making a life and not just making a living. You desire that and you deserve that. Go get it.
Go get it.
Don't accept
We desire it, but then you went on
less.
to say, we deserve it.
You deserve it.
And it's
We
the
deserve
abundant
that.
life. Yeah.
Deserve it.
It's the abundant life that God intended for us. So I'm looking forward to just talking to you more. I want to see you at GGG that Sunday that you can make it if you can. I just love it. I love you, girls. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Gladys,
all
we
for coming.
appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. Have a great day. Thanks, Bianca. Bye-bye now, everyone.
Bye.